Welcome, everyone, to English Podcast Edge.
Mm-hmm.
You know that feeling, right? You're listening, maybe watching something in English, understanding it all perfectly. And then someone asks you something, and suddenly, nothing. Or just a few hesitant words.
Yeah, that silence. It's incredible common.
Totally. So today, we're really diving deep into why that happens. Why you can understand English, maybe even read it easily. But speaking feels like a huge hurdle.
And more importantly, what you can actually do about it. We've got some really practical techniques.
Exactly. Think of this as your roadmap to unlocking that speaking ability you know you have somewhere inside.
It's such a frequent experience for learners, isn't it? This gap between understanding, which feels passive, and speaking, which is very much active.
Absolutely. Let's dig into that first. The whole comprehension versus speaking thing. Because they feel like they should be linked, right?
You'd think so, but understand, like you said, it's mostly receptive. You're taking information in, listening, reading, your brain's processing it.
Like downloading data.
Yeah, kind of, but speaking, that's productive. You have to generate the language yourself.
Right. You need to grab the words, put them together correctly, get your thoughts out, all on the fly.
Exactly. It involves recalling vocab, using grammar, structuring sentences. It's a completely different mental muscle.
It makes me think of knowing the rules of football versus actually playing the game. You can know all the rules.
Just getting on the pitch and performing under pressure, whole different ballgame. Needs practice, active practice.
Same with English speaking. And that difference, well, it leads straight into some of the common roadblocks, doesn't it?
It really does. And maybe the biggest one, the one we hear about all the time, is just fear.
Oh, yeah. The fear of messing up,
Yeah.
saying something wrong, sounding, I don't know, silly.
Or just being judged by whoever you're talking to. That fear can be paralyzing.
It really can stop you from even trying.
Mm-hmm. But here's the thing, and this is so important. Mistakes are not just okay, they're essential. They're actually how you learn.
That's a huge mindset shift, isn't it? Seeing mistakes as feedback, not failure.
Precisely. Every time you try, even if you stumble, you're learning. Think about it. Even native speakers make slips sometimes. It's part of talking.
Totally true.
Yeah.
Okay, so fear is a big one. What else stops people? I know something that used to trip me up was translating in my head.
Mental translation. Yes, that's another major hurdle. You're thinking in your native language.
And then frantically trying to convert it word for word into English before you speak.
And it just doesn't work smoothly, does it? It slows you right down, makes spontaneous conversation almost impossible.
Yeah, it feels clunky and exhausting.
It is. And it often leads to unnatural phrasing because languages just don't map onto each other perfectly.
So we need to train our brains to think directly in English.
Exactly. Which ties into another related idea, this input-output gap.
Input-output gap. Okay, break that down for us.
Well, think about all the English you take in. Listening to this, watching videos, reading. That's the input. Loads of it, usually.
Right, you're absorbing.
But the output, actually producing English, speaking it, that often lags behind. Your brain hasn't quite built the fast pathways needed to retrieve and use that information quickly enough for a conversation.
So you know the information is in there somewhere.
Yeah. But accessing it and spitting it out in real time, that takes specific practice. It's like building mental agility.
Like a workout for your speaking brain. The more you do it, the faster you get.
Precisely. And related to that speed issue, sometimes it just feels like memory overload.
Trying to remember all the grammar rules and all the vocabulary at once while you're trying to speak.
It's like having way too many browser tabs open in your head. Everything just slows down.
Yeah, analysis paralysis. You're so busy thinking about the language, you can't actually use it.
The key is making it more automatic, less conscious effort, more natural flow. And that comes from practice, specifically output practice.
Okay, so we've pinpointed some key reasons for the silence fear, translation, that input-output gap, memory overload. Let's switch gears. What can people actually do? Let's get into those practical techniques.
Right. Let's talk solutions. One that might feel a bit strange initially is mirror practice.
Talking to yourself in the mirror.
Yeah. Just stand there and talk. Describe your day, your thoughts, anything. In English, obviously.
Okay, why does that help? Seems a bit awkward.
It can feel weird, sure, but a couple of things happen. One, you see yourself speaking English, you see your expressions, that can actually build confidence.
Okay.
And two, it's zero pressure, no judgment. You can just focus on forming the sounds, trying out phrases. It's a safe space to just practice producing the language.
I could see that. Low stakes practice.
Okay.
Okay, what's next?
Recording yourself.
Ooh, even scarier than the mirror for some people.
Maybe, but incredibly useful. Record yourself speaking, maybe reading something or just talking freely. Then listen back.
What am I listening for? How bad I sound.
No, well, not exactly. You're listening for areas to improve pronunciation, maybe points where you hesitate a lot, but also you'll likely notice you sound better than you think.
That's true. We're often our own worst critics.
Exactly. It gives you objective feedback and helps you track progress. Wow, I sound much clearer now than I did last month.
Right. Tangible proof of improvement. Okay, mirror, recording. What else?
Something you can weave into your day, narrating your life.
Narrating. Like, and now he's making coffee.
Pretty much. As you do things, just describe them out loud or even silently in your head in English. I'm walking to the bus stop now. It looks like it might rain.
Huh. I like that. It makes practice constant but very low-key.
Exactly. Integrates English thinking and speaking into everyday moments.
Okay, cool. What about improving the actual sound and flow?
For that, shadowing is fantastic.
Shadowing. Explain that one.
You listen to native speakers, could be from videos, audiobooks, and you try to speak along with them in real time.
So mimicking them as closely as possible.
Yes. Copy their pronunciation, their intonation, the rhythm, the pauses, everything. It's not just about the words.
It's about catching the music of the language.
Beautifully put, yes. It trains your mouth and your ear together, gets you used to the natural flow.
That sounds really powerful for fluency.
It can be. And one more for the practice on your own toolkit, self-talk.
Didn't we cover that with the mirror?
Sort of, but this is more about your internal monologue, that voice inside your head.
Yeah.
Try to make it speak English when you think, oh, I need to buy milk. Consciously think it in English instead of your native language.
Ah, so shifting your actual thinking language.
Exactly. It starts building that direct line from thought to English expression, bypassing the translation step.
Okay, these are great solo practice techniques. Mirror, recording, narrating, shadowing, self-talk. But eventually you got to talk to actual people, right?
That's the goal, stepping out of the comfort zone.
Which can be scary. How do you start?
Start small. Seriously small. Don't aim for a deep philosophical debate first time out.
Right. Like just say hello and thank you in English at a shop.
Perfect start. Or ask one simple question. Set tiny, achievable goals. Ordering a coffee in English. Asking for directions.
And embrace the mistakes we talked about earlier.
Absolutely. Expect them. Laugh them off if you can. Remember that mix-up story? Someone trying to say scarf, but it came out scared?
Oh, yeah. I like you're scared.
It was awkward for a second, sure, but communication still happened. People understood the intent. Mistakes aren't the end of the world. Often, they're not even noticed or they're easily corrected.
Good reminder. Okay, so start small, don't fear mistakes. How do you find people to practice with?
Well, there are tons of options now. Language exchange partners are great. You find someone online who wants to learn your language and you help each other.
A swap. Practice for practice.
Exactly. Lots of websites and apps facilitate that. And speaking of apps, many language learning apps now have speaking components too.
Right, like pronunciation feedback tools.
They can't fully replace real conversation, but they're excellent for focused practice, especially on pronunciation, in a non-judgmental way. A great supplement.
Okay, so finding partners or using app features. What about just everyday opportunities?
Yes, this is key. Learn to initiate simple conversations.
That feels like the biggest leap for some people. Starting it.
Yeah.
What are some easy ways in?
Use your surroundings. Asking for simple recommendations is always good. Excuse me, is there a good place for lunch around here? People often like sharing tips.
True. Or commenting on something neutral, like the weather or a shared experience.
Definitely. Wow, it's finally stopped raining. Or this bus is running late today, isn't it? Simple, open invitations to chat.
And using open-ended questions helps, right? Not just yes, no.
Crucial. Instead of, do you like the city? Or try, what do you enjoy most about living here? It encourages a longer answer, keeps the conversation going.
Little changes that make a big difference in interaction.
They really do. The more you practice initiating, the less scary it becomes.
Okay, so techniques, practice stepping out. Underlying all of this, though, there's confidence, isn't there? That feeling that you can actually do it.
Oh, absolutely central. Confidence isn't just a feeling, it directly impacts performance.
How so?
Well, if you feel more confident, you're less likely to hesitate, right? You're more willing to just go for it. And that leads to smoother, more natural speech.
It's like a positive cycle. Speak
Mhm.
more, get better, feel more confident to speak even more.
Exactly that loop. But how do you build it when you're starting out and maybe feeling unsure?
Yeah, how do you kickstart that confidence?
Celebrate the small wins. Seriously. Did you understand a joke in English? Did you order food successfully? Did you use a new word correctly? Acknowledge that. Pat yourself on the back.
Focus on progress, not perfection.
Yes. And listen to positive feedback. If someone says your English is good or improving, believe them. Let it sink in. Build on those positive experiences.
It's about building that internal belief brick by brick.
Embrace the journey, accept the bumps, and keep track of how far you've come. Confidence grows with practice and positive reinforcement.
That's a really hopeful message. Okay, to put all this great advice into action, we've got a challenge for our listeners.
We do. Your challenge for tomorrow, try out at least 3 of the techniques we talked about today.
Okay, so maybe narrate your breakfast routine in English.
Yeah, that's one.
And then maybe shadow a short podcast clip for 5 minutes.
Good one, that's 2.
And initiate one super simple conversation, like asking someone for the time or complimenting their dog.
Perfect. 3 doable actions. Narrate, shadow, initiate, give it a try.
And please, let us know how it goes. Drop a comment, share your experience.
Definitely. And remember, everyone, getting comfortable speaking English is, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Be patient with yourself.
Celebrate every step.
And don't be afraid to just make some noise.
Yeah.
Get talking.
If you like the content, please like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us to keep going.